I wouldn't be playing the cello. There you have it. She has helped me during, hugely difficult times during my life. And I studied with her for, I think, for just, what was it, about 2.5 years. And then she moved into the West Coast. And then I followed her out there for my but I actually went, I came out to the West Coast for my my MD PhD, and she moved out to Oregon. We've been in touch all really since I was 10 years old, right, Cheryl?
Yeah, you came out to visit in Oregon when, I don't know, you must have been 9 or 10.
Yep.
Your mom let you come, and you were desperately homesick.
I know.
You used to go home early. You wanted to stay.
But your cat was there. That helped me too.
And my baby too.
Yes. Who's now 30?
She's almost turning 40.
Yes, right.
Well, I was able to tune in the last 10 minutes of your concert because, as I told you, I was teaching cello lessons until then. And I just loved it. And I loved the clarity of the Beethoven fugue, how you brought out the important lines, both of you, and highlighted them. It was just beautiful. And so I look forward to watching and listening to the whole program later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you again from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done to inspire me as a musician and as a person.
Thank you. Is your mother here?
Yes, she is, but she's probably going to be too shy to say anything. But I should also thank my mom, because she was the one who loved the cello. I didn't know a cello from a field hoe, and she loved the cello, and she chose it. And then my older brother got to play it first because he was in 3rd grade first, and I couldn't wait to get my claws on that. So he played for a year and decided that was enough, and I gladly took it over and didn't let any of my other siblings try it. Not that they wanted to, but
I still remember your very first cello lesson. Little girl coming down my path with her daddy.
Yeah.
So if I can shout out to Cheryl, you're living in my hometown of Portland, Oregon. And my violin teacher was Raphael Spiro. I don't know if you ever had the pleasure of meeting him.
Yes.
And I'm sure it was a musical disappointment to him, but we had interactions in other ways. So I want to ask Ellyses and Julie what it's like to be performing without an audience. I've had the pleasure of seeing you live only once when you performed near my home in Watertown. It was fantastic, but there was clearly a dialogue with the audience. What's it like for you these days in the pandemic to be doing virtual performances, sometimes recording separately or the two of you together at a safe distance? How does that influence your performance and how you interact with the music itself? I mean, it was amazing tonight. It was really wonderful. I really felt as though you were playing to an audience, but what it's like as a performer.
Do you want to go first, Ellyses?
Well, we actually had audiences. Clayton and Mark was there recording for us. I have to say it's definitely, a different experience, and it's a little lonely, but it's in a, I mean, this whole pandemic has brought us to a whole different level in terms of, every perspective in our lives. From like small things. I mean, like it's different. I am also grateful at the same time that we were able to experience, this during this difficult time, we are still playing together and continue doing projects together. And, I have to say, like playing in an empty hall is actually harder than I thought. Especially when you don't have the group of audience in front of you absorbing your sound, everything that you can hear very, very clearly. And it requires a lot more focus and concentration, I have to say. But it was a great, great experience to me.
For what
I would agree.
It really felt as though you were playing to us. I mean, I really felt part of the audience. So that kudos to you both. I mean, for doing that. I'm sure it's hard.
Well, we really, again, we can't thank Clayton. Even just having Clayton and Mark there was just really great because, as Elisa said, the times, I don't know if you've had a chance, if anybody's had a chance, but we've put some videos on that we've done too, and some of those have just basically been in my living room or wherever, or separate, and it isn't, it just doesn't feel the same, and you almost feel more, or at least maybe this is just my own angst, but I feel even more pressure that it has to be beyond perfect, because it's recorded, it's not live, but and I don't, that feeling of my little, whatever super ego or on my head too much of the time is not a good feeling. I like having the audience lets that connection, lets me, I think, be a little bit more loose and feel like I can, you get there's an energy that one misses, I think, right, Elise? I mean, that you miss when you don't have that, see the expressions on people's faces, hear sometimes a sigh, after, like, the second movement of the Beethoven, which I just, that is one of the most beautiful Beethoven slow movements ever. And it just puts me almost into a trance when I play it, and I just to kind of feel the audience feel that too, because you usually do feel that when you play it live. Is just something that I miss with not being able to play live.
I have to say it was a real treat to be able to be the audience for that live performance, and it was really hard at the end of every piece not to just like put applause on the recording because it was just so moving. So I just am so appreciative for having been a part of it. Thank you. I wish that we could have a full house again, and someday we will be able to gather as a full house. But it's great to be able to share, and it's really been sweet tonight to watch everybody joining us on Zoom and YouTube and Facebook. I've got all the links live now, so anybody, we do have some folks who are watching us again on YouTube and Facebook. It took a little bit of time for me to get that up, but just so that we do have an audience out there right now too. So, and I'll be watching those if people have any questions that they want to ask about the music. Here on Zoom, everybody you can unmute yourself if you like. If you speak, your image will be captured and shared across YouTube and Facebook, just so that the risks of modern living with cameras. But I have put a spotlight on Ellyses and Julie, so if you don't speak, the camera is just going to be on the two of them, and then myself as I speak. So thank you, everybody, for coming. It's such a pleasure, and I don't want to speak anymore. I want to hear more from you two, and what it was like watching yourself, what it was like, preparing for this. I'm sure that I could ask you tons of questions, but I have opportunities other times. So please ask away, folks. What did you think? Tell us. How did this make you feel? I felt just incredibly moved. So thank you for doing this for us.
Yeah, what one of the interesting things about doing this particular one was when we recorded it, it was in an evening because of the light in the library, and also because of everyone's work schedules and all that, and so just to get that energy up for that, but also the nice thing about the fact that it was recorded was that, Ellyses and I, we looked at each other, we said, okay, we've got to start. So even though we had a plan of the arc of the program for how we wanted it to evolve with the narrative, we were able to start the recording with the Beethoven, to get the really heavy stuff out of the way. And not that, I mean, each of the facets of the program had its challenges, like the humoresque, and which was anything but humorous to work on. But we that was kind of nice, right, Elisa? So we could sort of have a do it and plan. We could at least plan how we wanted to record it, because we did it in one take. We didn't have a chance to do it on multiple takes.
So I saw Bruce has raised his hand. This is the first time I saw this.
Yes, hi.
Yeah.
I got to know Robert Reimann from the interaction design community, so I have been following you a little bit as Duo Amie. I was impressed very much with a sort of mathematical quality to the performance, which was that I felt that there was a separate layer. The music itself was coming across, and then the performers were not coming through. The performance was of the music, rather than the people performing, which I thought was very beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, Mark Crosby, who did all the videography, he actually set up these amazing angles, and we actually asked him. I said, I think at least I find as a audience member sometimes that I wish I could be, I won't say a fly because that has connotations now on someone's head. I won't. Anyway, we won't go there. But sorry, a little bug of some sort on the scroll of someone's instrument, so that one can really see the hands. And so we said, so then he thought, the fact that he put so much also on Ellyses' hands, just to see her amazing hands just go up and down the fingerboards. And then even for me, I wanted him to focus more on my hands and than the rest of me, because I just think that's so interesting. And oftentimes when we're in Symphony Hall, without binoculars, you can't see, you don't see much. I mean, you hear, but to be able to focus in and out, that is at least one of the advantages of having something choreographed and videotaped rather than seeing it from afar. So thank you for that. I'm glad that resonated, and that it allows you to focus even more on the music, I think, and I like that he put the two different angles together too, right? At least this was all his, he really put that together.
If I remember correctly, I believe he had 5 cameras going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And then to make it so seamless, for the final production, it did take him, I'm sure it took him a lot of work and effort, and he did an amazing job. Really, thank you, Mark. I don't think Mark is here, but I'm sure,
he's sick and tired of listening to it, probably. If I have to listen to that piece one more time.
No, I can say definitively, I know that he's not. He has to cover all the city council hearings.
Yeah.
He loves doing this work. So Mark would want to protest for sure. This is like for all people.
No, he did. We gave him this, we had put together this whole presentation with all the different artwork and all of this. And he kind of he took that and put it in with the music, and kind of was able to, that was tricky to even just make it seamless. So, Cheryl?
Yes, I was so impressed by the slow movement of the Beethoven, the nervous tension that you managed to maintain at such a slow tempo. And I was remembering the pianist George Shebach told about how one year he and Janos Starker played that piece at a recital in Barcelona, and they were supposed to catch a train right after the concert, and they weren't sure if they would make it on time, but they ended up at kind of a contest of playing chicken, of how slow could do that movement, and each of them kind of egging the other back slower and slower and slower. And they did make the train, just barely. But I thought about that when I saw how you spun it out so wonderfully and slowly and kept the structure of it through that slow time. Was that a challenge? How did you feel about doing that?
I mean, especially for me, because as a pianist, the piano is not as singing as the string instrument. So for me, it's really, really hard. And I keep asking Julie, is it really that slow? Is it really that slow?
We definitely went back and forth on the tempo. I wanted to start it even slower. And she thankfully convinced me, because my bow control, I think, would have tested the limits of But I just the beginning of that, and just that suspended feeling, and also it is, as Cheryl, I'm sure to be able to play that in sync with your partner, your piano partner, and to play it just seamlessly, and it's like a hymn, and poor Ellyses, because Ellyses has just amazing, rhythm. And at the beginning, I think also because my tempo, I think, was slower. She's like, Julie, are you, I'm thinking, I'm counting, and, I'm feeling like 2, the 8th notes. Are you? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So we had to practice that a number of times. But just when it clicks, it's just such an amazing, and at the end too, the end of the piece, and then how we, the speeding up in the beginning, and then Ellyses has to bring it back, when it comes back to the recap too, and that was her opportunity to take it away and go a little faster, but she didn't.
This is actually very funny because I remember when as a performer playing that piece, especially I'm sitting so close to the piano, I can hear the resonant sounds from the instrument, itself, probably more closer to me than any of you, sitting in the audience group. So I keep thinking about what was in Beethoven's mind, because he never saw the modern piano that we have nowadays. It was the forte piano, but I'm sure the sound and then was very, very different back then. For him to be playing, I don't know, for him to play on a forte piano, imagining that sound with the cello, how to me it must be even harder. With such bigger instrument nowadays that we are playing, it's already hard enough. For him, it's almost not possible. It's probably some kind of sound that it's probably only in his mind back then. I have a feeling that he might like the modern piano, if he had a chance to actually see it. But it's just very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Quite unique experience for playing that movement.
That's great. And for a cellist and a pianist to be in agreement about the tempos, my pianist and I decided we had to make sure we had the same amount of coffee before each performance.
That's a good idea.
Good advice. That's good advice.
So that's all I have to say.
Any other questions about any of the pieces, or the Oransky was a piece that I don't, at least I'm not sure if you knew the piece either. I didn't know much about him, and I didn't know these pieces at all. I find them quite lovely, and these little sort of vignettes, of mood. And especially the chanson triste with I don't know if everyone noticed, but but poor Ellyses, because really for your voice in that is essentially all mostly one voice, right? I mean, just sort of mostly like a left hand voice, and even with the cello, it's all this kind of this just intertwining in and out, and these almost sighs, through the whole thing. That piece I really loved a lot. So we kind of discovered some, I think, Ellyses, did you find the elegy, the Rachmaninoff elegy? That was of course originally written just for piano, but it's just so amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was really touching. And the Tchaikovsky Nocturne.
Oh yeah, I think that might be our favorite actually of right.
That one breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's just exquisite, and I love the fact that Tchaikovsky fell in love with his own pieces so much that he would write, because he wrote that one just for solo piano, but then he himself rewrote it for cello and actually small orchestra, and he did that with the Andante Cantabile, from the what is it, his second quartet or his first quartet, the famous Andante Cantabile. I think he realized how wonderful the cello was, of course, and it's just interesting that he wrote these two pieces, that rewrote them again just for cello and piano. So
I'm curious what your discovery process is like. Do you just have do you go to a Spotify playlist that's got a ton? Do you scour YouTube? Are you digging through sheet music and just kind of, reading it with your eyes? How do you, and I assume you probably do some of all of these things and more. How, the last piece that you discovered and decided to play together, how did you find it?
Well, sometimes we actually start with, like the theme, we think of a theme that we want to do, and then we brainstorm around that. But sometimes, actually, Ellyses, she's usually my muse with this, with our Spirit of Tango program that we did several years ago. I didn't, and I'm embarrassed to say I did not know this piece. I should have, but the Grand Tango, you know, Astor Piazzolla's Grand, I actually hadn't ever played it or heard it before. And she sent it to me. She said, "Oh my God, we have to play this." And I said, "Oh my God, we have to play this. All right, okay, here we go. We've got to find a." So we built a theme around that, and the same with actually Melodic Canvases that actually she found this version of the Pictures of an Exhibition, you know, by Mussorgsky, that had actually been arranged by Laszlo Vargas for cello and piano. And then we thought, okay, what a great idea, you know, music and art and melodic, you know, canvas, music inspired by art. So we built, and then this, of course, with the music in the mind, the wanting to focus on mental illness, and composers have mental illness. But so then we just started doing research on which ones, you know, of course, Schumann immediately came to mind, but then I think Ellyses, you found Rachmaninoff, and then we were just kind of thinking of other, and we were reading about other artists, and then we kind of we think about which, you know, pieces would go well together, which that would juxtapose and make different moods in a program, right? So that's.
Yeah, so if any of you have any suggestion about theme, then we would love to hear from you, because I guess that is our source of motivation.
Yeah.
It's also like we found it very, very interesting to have build a program around the theme, and a lot of time we could, you know, we were able to find collaboration. For example, like the Tango program, we had a Tango dancer at our concert. It was just fun. And then we had an artist to speak, you know, for the Melodic Canvases program. So it's just like bringing the community together, that piece that, you know, is really a driving force, you know, for me, and you know, I'm sure, you know, Julie to continue, you know, doing what we are doing. So yeah, if anybody have any idea on theme or like charity or, you know, anything like good works that the community is, you know, happening in the community, please let us know. You know, we would love to do more outreach. And
that's how we met actually originally, you know, it was by doing a benefit concert. So we really, you know, every year we focus on that, and this would have been, like I said, our big, we wanted to do, and still I think, you know, as soon as we can, we hope to be able to do this for you know, Vinfen was the one that we were going to do this for, but yeah, so and if there's any piece that sometimes, again, we listen to a piece, like sometimes Ellyses will just text me like on the weekend or something, "Do you know this piece? You know, oh, I love this piece," and oh, well, let's think about something we can. So it's just neat. So, you know, we're always discovering and wanting to discover, you know, new pieces. So.
Were there any pieces as you were preparing for this one where you said, "Oh no, that's too crazy," or it was driving you crazy to play it? Because I could see like having a relationship with the music, you're like, "No, I can't take it anymore." Have you, or are there other pieces of music that you can think that you've had that kind of relationship with, or you just said you had to put it down? Maybe you came back to it later, but it just drove you to the point of insanity. What was that? Have you? I don't know. Maybe that hasn't happened to you.
Rachmaninoff cello sonata, then I would.
I'm still working on Ellyses to play that with me. So if any of you guys can help me gang up on her to, because it's basically a piano, you know, it's piano with cello on the top as a like a little. I mean, I'm just, you know, I mean, it's nothing. But so please, yeah, harass her so that she will play it with me. No, but well, there's a one piece we were considering for this program, which we still actually hope to do. I don't know but Scriabin was had a lot of problems with mental illness, and so the etude, which one is it? Is the opus Opus 8 number 12, is it? 8? Or Opus 12 number 8?
Right.
Which it's amazing. I mean, it's beastly difficult, you know, for piano. But there's also a version for cello and piano, which is also beastly difficult for both of us. But it's crazy. I mean, it's really. I mean, it's not like when you play it. It's the kind of thing where I half jokingly said that I wanted to ask a friend of mine who's a luthier to give me a cheap cello, so that at the end I could stand up and smash the cello on the ground, you know, like the rock stars do, because it's that crazy. I mean, it's nuts. And then we thought that would be such a great way to end this program, but we restrained ourselves. Yeah, I see Corey's putting his We'll have you photograph us if we do that. That's what I'm still working on Ellyses to do that, but it's crazy. So we didn't go down that rabbit hole for this one.
Hello.
Hi, Yoko. Hi.
Ellyses. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I interrupted you because I gotta go to pick up my daughter to the dance. And I'm from South Shore Choral Art, where Ellyses accompanies.
Yes, I miss you guys. Thank you.
I miss you too, Ellyses.
Thank you so much for listening in.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys are so beautiful, and I loved the last piece, Beethoven.
Thank you.
I loved your piano, Ellyses, of course, but as you said, cello sang a lot, and I loved your the roughness of your cello. Was very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks
really...
for hosting, Clayton. It was nice.
Truly my pleasure. Yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Alrighty, I gotta go. Thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Yes.
It looked like Corey was trying to say something a little bit ago, but he was muted, but he stepped away from his camera. So Corey, if you're there, and here, I can go ahead and unmute if you'd like.
Yeah.
And we can't hear you still. See your lips. Oh, there you go. Now we can hear you a bit.
I'm just getting used to this stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was really wonderful to hear them, see them play, and in addition to the artwork that was put with the music, that was just fascinating, totally fascinating. From Van Gogh to Gauguin, I think, and whoever else was in it. I love that. I love the artwork with the music. That's just so inspiring.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Well done, Elise. Well done, Julie.
Oh,
really.
Thank you so much. It was really great for you to be able to tune in. Corey's an amazing photographer, and so that's.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I miss seeing you guys live. I've only seen you once, and I had planned on many more, but now we have to kind of wait a little bit. But I'm not going anywhere as long as you guys don't go anywhere.
No.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. At least we can do this. This is this is wonderful, wonderful. And I've got to act proper because Melissa might be listening to me.
Welcome, friend.
It was wonderful to see you guys. I hope you guys have both been well.
Yes, we're doing well.
Yes, thank you.
Through all this, and I hope to see more of these music.
We're working on it, and again, thanks to Clayton and just all the wonderful everyone who's trying to support the arts while we're all in this situation. And it's we will persevere, and at least there's hope on the horizon with the new vaccine news. And I just we all have to try to hope, but I think these types of opportunities, Clayton, and it just brings everyone together in a way that I think we all hunger for, because we all, this sense of isolation, and it's really it is certainly not the same as playing live, but at least it's something. And
oh yeah, totally. It's I'm appreciative that you guys can do it for sure. It's just so hopefully we'll get to see each other in person again.
Yes.
At some point. Yeah.
So
but I'll stay tuned for any notifications of anything new that's coming up.
Well, we have a little foray into the Beatles that we're gonna be rolling out on our YouTube channel in December. So
what? I need to see that.
Stay tuned.
I need to see that. I was that little 11-year-old boy who pleased to stay up to watch them on the Ed Sullivan Show. So I've got to see it. That's how old I am. I'm really old. So that's wonderful. I'll stay tuned for that.
Thank you.
Oh boy, I'm telling you. Well, I'm in the middle of cooking, baking a banana bread and listening to you guys at the same time. So I'm, multitasking. And I see you have company.
Thank you, Max. my son coming up to say hello.
That's awesome.
Well, it has been awesome having everybody join us tonight, and I know, you know, I want to just thank both of you so much for sharing this, for letting us record it, and share this with everybody tonight, for letting it persist online, so that, you know, we can come back and refresh our, you know, our souls as needed. With this now, having this out in the world just feels like, you know, I can certainly rest a little easier tonight knowing that I have helped contribute and just make this happen, because it was just incredible. And I'm just glad to know that it exists for us to turn back to and refresh ourselves. So I'm just really, really grateful. And these are hard times. And I just to take solace in the hard times that people have seen before and made it through, and, you know, thought of these amazing pieces that you shared with us tonight. We all need to go and practice and keep, you know, fortify. And, you know, when we've done programs with the Historical Society, and, you know, you can actually learn a lot by looking at history and realizing, you know, that human history is filled with a lot of really hard times, but somehow we have persisted. And that survival story is incredibly beautiful. So it's just wonderful.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, thank you again, Corey. Corey. Thank you again, Clayton, and everyone who tuned in, and we're really grateful for this opportunity, and also very glad that the concert will continue to be posted so everyone can listen in.
For anybody who is watching it on Zoom, I did just get a comment from someone that they found the sound was a little thinner on Zoom than it was watching it native in YouTube, which makes sense. I was live streaming YouTube to Zoom to make this all happen and synchronize everything. So I encourage you that the high definition version is on Zoom, is on YouTube, and it's also on Facebook. YouTube is probably going to be the easiest place to find it, though. So that's, yeah. Definitely go back and watch it on a big screen, put on some headphones and enjoy, just drift away. So, and I think we were actually, I don't know, Mark was going to give you the individual pieces. You were talking about putting those together at some point too. So
yeah, actually, no, it'll be wonderful. He's going to let us be able to put those as individual pieces on our YouTube, and that way we can actually put them into our playlists. As if anyone who's been on our website, we kind of arrange things into playlists. So we'll be making a Music in the Mind playlist, and then we can also put some of the other ones in some of our other playlists. So yeah, that will be great. So we look forward to being able to put that as well on our website or on our YouTube channel.
Awesome. Well, as you get those, we'll have to figure out how to share those as well. You know, or that we can share these in the pieces that work. So we can, you know, when we have only time for a little snack, we can get that. When we have time to sit like tonight and enjoy the full thing, we can
exactly.
relish in it. So
yeah.
We said we were going to do a short talk back. You've been very generous with your time performing this. It's been great having you join us tonight. I know, we could pour adoration at you, I'm sure, for hours and hours. It'd be very easy for me to do it. I'm sure many people would be happy to join me in doing that. But it is also, some of us are still cooking dinner and have other things to do tonight. So I don't want to take you any more time, but I just want to say thank you so much. It has been a real honor and pleasure. If anybody else has any other final words you'd like to share, I have been watching the chat, and I think people have just enjoyed watching us on YouTube and Facebook. I haven't seen any chats there. Any questions? I just know that there's been a lot of adoration. So it's been a beautiful evening, and I am so grateful for you sharing with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. And thank you, Ellyses. And thanks again, everybody. And have a very happy and healthy and safe Thanksgiving. And take care of yourselves and listen to some beautiful music, get some rest. Try to get out in nature a little bit.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good night. Hugs to you both.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Everybody, take care.
Thank you. Good
Happy
night.
Thanksgiving. Good night.
Take care.